Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program is being streamed live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5 and also on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat if you want to watch the show live either on your Facebook or either on your YouTube channel. And of course, you're going to follow live. We wanted to share the show tonight. As you know, it's always interesting. The show is always interesting. And I know you're going to follow tonight. But just share the show. Share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the show. We're still expecting our panelists. I'm sure they are on their way, trying to make their way to the studio. But in the meantime, let me just have quick of what is coming up. Hopefully, we'll have a grill with Councillor Bono Vama. Councillor Vama is he's the chairman of the Liberia's of the Law Reform Commission. Okay, let me put it right. He's the chairman of the Law Reform Commission. He should be our guest if all goes well. That is at 8:30. But before then, going to bring you what we call on the margin of the program. We've got some stories, not our main stories, but we're going to discuss them before 8:30. When my panelists come in, and then that takes us up to 8:30. Link up control of our guests, and then at 9:15 we continue with our discussion, as panelists. But I wanted to share tonight's show. The promises to be very, very interesting. It promises to be very, very fierce. Yes, I know. Like I said, this is the only show that it's unboring. We begin at 8 o'clock, and of course, we end at 10:30, just to 2 hours, 30 minutes. We help you, lead you to sleep, to slumber, and then after which you just leave and you enjoy yourself, you enjoy your sleep. This is not one of the shows at night or during the evening hours that run up to 4-5 hours. For what now? Even a show at the BBC, even programs at BBC don't last for all those times. So just last for just 2 hours, 30 minutes. We lead you, we help you, gather your sleep, and then by the end of the show, you are sleepy already, and you just go into deep sleep and enjoy your night. So my panelists are on their way. Gradually, they are coming. On the show, I have David Benedictus, Erasmus Namwitabwe. George Kennedy also is one of the panelists. Our man Edwin Farmole, but Edwin has been running, making preparations about his graduation. He should be graduating from the law school. Again, Edwin, congratulations. And so Edwin has been shot in recent days. We also have as panelists the man Moses Sandy. Sandy is our regular panelist. And our irregular panelist is the man Prince Kripler. Prince is here only on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Prince is here. But I want you to share the live video tonight. It promises to be very, very interesting. It promises to be very, very, rewarding, information-wise and education-wise. It promises to be very rewarding. Let me welcome George Kennedy quickly to the program. George, welcome.
Thank you. So good evening, and good evening to our our technicians in the public who listen to us. And I hope that my colleague David Tagbe will be in tonight. We know that Mr. Famule is graduating on Friday from the Louis Atterbury School of Law. And after then, we shall have an attorney at law on the show.
Yeah, sure.
To our diaspora panelists, I want to say good evening to Mr. Sandy and Mr. Kripler, who is going to be here probably tonight. Probably will be here tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're expecting the other panelists to come in, but in the meantime, let us just acquaint with what is coming up. It's like we said, we should have a grill with the chairman of the Law Reform Commission, Councillor Bono Vama. You know, Councillor Vama used to be the head
Bar
of the
Association.
Bar Association,
Yeah.
and of course, he just resigned yesterday. Formally, he resigned. He has taken over at the Law Reform Commission, where we understand he's going to ensure that some of our laws that are obsolete that are on the book are reformed. And of course, after that interview with Councillor Vama, we're going to have our own discussion. We understand the Civil Service Agency has suspended some protesting health workers, but the Ministry of Health has disagreed. We don't know what's happening. Two major government functionaries at each other's throat or at variance over policies. What's going to happen? We're going to talk about that tonight. Also, you know, the government launched the value added tax. And since they launched, the former Minister of Finance, he took onto his Facebook page, in fact, writing and trying to, you know, dismiss that the value added tax was something originated during the we as administration. But there is a write up, which appears to be a counter. We're going to read all the both of them, and of course we talk about the issue of the value added tax tonight. And also, the Ministry of Justice has moved. We understand to seek the Senate leadership to present some key financial documents. We want to talk about that as well. And news broke by some online news organs that there were some corrupt practices at NASCOP. But after those online organs reported that, one of them came back and changed gear and said, well, they take full responsibility of whatever damage that story might have caused NASCOP. We're hoping that we can read exactly what they wrote as well. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. George,
Yep.
what is on your mind, you think?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sabot. We've been following some trending issues. There's something that some of us still trying to figure on our minds as to what is possible. The issue at FPRC, where it's being alleged that the MD has been collecting taxes on behalf of the government and then no account. I don't know how possible it is when LRA is there. We want to see more clarification from the management of FPRC because I'm finding it difficult to understand that taxes, And then another thing is I still want to echo the clearance from the RACC, clearing the people from LACRA. And it's necessary that when people are cleared, they are given a kind of due respect and probably replace or pay off because the issue of corruption has the propensity to damage people. A reputation. So when those things come up, it's necessary that when the LACC act, of course, the executive should act, even though we know that probably there are some bureaucracies along the way. So far, so good.
Okay.
Other things I was saying. Yeah.
Okay, I think let's talk about basically the MDMC. We understand that they are to meet with the Ministry of Transport, something of that nature. But let's try to
They,
read whatever
they
document we
actually
have.
filed a petition to the justice in chamber.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But I understand. I think let's read what we have here quickly so we can talk about this.
Yeah.
12 minutes after 8 o'clock, kindly share the show, share the live video. This is the nighttime heat, and of course, it promises to be very, very interesting tonight. We are on the margin of the program, and we got some stories, not our main stories. We want to talk about them quickly before 8:30. Okay, let me read this. Associate Justice Yusuf D. Kaba of the Supreme Court of Liberia has cited the Ministry of Transport and its minister, Salif Aratalo, to appear before him on Friday, February 27, 2026, in response to a petition filed by the Modern Development and Management Corporation, MDNC. According to the Justice in Chimo's citation, by directive of His Honor Yusuf D. Kaba, Associate Justice presiding in Chambers, you are hereby cited to a conference with His Honor on Friday, February 27, 2026, at the hour of 10 a.m. in connection with the petition. MDMC seeks rate to halt LTM operations. In its petition, MDMC is requesting a rate of prohibition to stop the Liberia Traffic Management LTM from conducting vehicle registration and the driver's licensing activities. MDMC argues that it holds a binding 9-year contract with the Ministry of Transport, granting it exclusive rights to manage key components of vehicle registration and the driver's license production. The corporation insists that the agreement remains valid and that no legal authority has been granted to LTM to duplicate or assume those responsibilities. The company maintains that LTM's current activities amount to interference with an existing contractual arrangement and therefore require immediate judicial restraint. Okay, so please answer. So that's the story. So the MDMC had gone to the Supreme Court, indicating that it has a 9-year contractual arrangement. So with that, it means that what we heard or what was released regarding the start of date for the LTM may experience some hitches, you think?
Yeah, sure. Because the background to this story is that in 2021 there was the Ministry of Transport and the MDMC went to court, the lower court, and the court ruled in favor of MDMC on our contractor issue. And so at that time, the LTM was there, and the LTM said that they were going to take an appeal to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
LTM took flight to the Supreme Court, but later between 2023 and 2024 withdrew the case. So it means that the lower court ruling stays tense in that matter. So now LTM come in because the president issued, from the president office issued a statement that LTM was going to take over the issue of license production and the vehicle regulation issue by March 1. So now MDMC, seeing that as an interference, decided to take flight to the Supreme Court and they said, look, we have a general contract that has lifespan of 9 years, and our contracts will be violated by March 1 if at all nothing is done. So we are pleading with you to issue an injunction on the operation of LTM. So I think that's why the Justice in Chambers, Justice Kaba, decided to summon the parties involved in conference. That is very important because I'm one person. I know the government standpoint feel that when there is a concession, the concession should be respected. When the government signs contracts, the contract, the spirit and intent of the contract should be respected. So they didn't want to go against the concession agreement. with this legal hula baloo that coming now, maybe it will show them the pathway actually through the law, the pathway actually to find solution to this thing. If the Supreme Court decide to uphold the ruling, the lower court ruling in 2021, it means that ATM would not be functioning to do that, to carry on that particular.
Now, but another thing is that when did the MDMC of John Yoboti, when did they enter the contractual arrangement? Because he's saying 9 years, and apparently that might have 6 years of the last administration might have been part of the 9 years.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. So
it could be that it may be between 2018 to 2020, right? And the truth is, I know MDMC relationship with the past government. They have very strong relationship. So probably the signed this agreement. I don't want to say, in fact, if it were illegal, the court would not have ruled. Sure. The lower court would not have ruled in his favor. So probably the lifespan of this particular contract may be around 2028, 2029. And let's see, because we don't really know the whole detail. Nothing has been published about the lifespan of the contract. And and that's why we always say, most of these concessions, most of these things you're doing, if the legislature is passing to do laws, you should investigate on this type of thing. Who all have contracts in this area?
Yeah,
you want to get a full disclosure so you can see the roles of those contractors.
Surely.
Then when you pass the concession, then everybody will know what role to play. But something like that was not probably done and especially with one party on the other side claiming that their signature was forged and other things.
Now, another thing that I'm looking at, George, it seems because since the the LTM issue came about, let me welcome Moses quickly. I'm sure he should be on by now. We just got Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks, Sava. And George,
Okay.
how are you today?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Sandy. Thank you so much.
My brother, it's a pleasure. And to our team in Monrovia, let me say hi to them quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moses, for joining. Now we are talking about the MDMC taking a flight to the Supreme Court to halt the operation of the LTM. Now, but Moses, before I come to Moses, George, it seems that this could be a joint operation by
the Ministry of Transport,
the Ministry of Transport and the MDMC, because all along the Ministry of Transport has been against the operation of the LTM, because the ministry believes if the LTM assumes its role, it will definitely have no role to play anymore, except the inspectorate division will be working, and that's going to render the ministry of Transport paralyzed.
Yeah.
Now, so don't you think this could be a joint operation? Maybe Salif Talo has been fighting against the LTM operation, and he's not getting anywhere until just quite recently when we received this press statement from the executive mansion that the LTM should begin operation by the 1st of March. So maybe Salif Talo said, "Well, let me run to the MDMC to help me in this fight."
Well, it could even be from a wider perspective. The government may not want to openly nullify the concession that was legally passed, but there are other instruments. This could be one of the instruments, in my opinion. It may not be the Ministry of Transport. Some people say that there's an active legal instrument that was probably violated during the passing of this concession. Now, that instrument went to court 2021 and won the case in the lower court. LTM ran to the Supreme Court, and between 2023 to 2024 withdrew its petition from the Supreme Court. It means MDMC is arguing that it means that LTM accepted the ruling from the lower court. So the elevation here, what could get the Ministry of Transport involved is that they've been collaborating already, and that's a Liberian-owned company. And technicians there feel that MDMC, a Liberian-owned company, managing Liberians' data, personal data, is far better in their opinion, in some of their opinion,
So
than being managed by foreign
you
companies.
are saying that
Yeah.
this whole operation running to the Supreme Court may not only be a joint operation of the
It could
MDMC
be, yeah, it could
and
be.
the Ministry of Transport.
Yeah, it could be.
Apparently, some maybe lawmakers as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Who don't see the need for
Yeah.
LTM to operate.
Yes.
Now, Moses, what do you think?
Look, I can tell you, say it is a messy situation, you know, and I don't want to speculate, but there are a lot that can be read in this. But something that the both of you said already stands out, the way laws are passed in the legislature. You know, there's what we call the tyranny of the majority. And that's what happens in the House. It's a number game. All three of us here, we cover the legislature. You go in there are a good number of lawmakers that don't read. They do not understand the issues that they are even voting on. They vote on issues with little or no information. Most of the time, the action in the legislature is driven by personal interest. Oh man, what did the people bring? I'm not trying to indict our lawmakers here, but this is in the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
It's driven by personal ego. And when you do stuff like this, the implications can be extremely bad. Some of them did not even do a comparison. Say, hey, let's look at this LTM law and look at the act that created the Ministry of Transport.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that. Oh, my man, the party must prevail. And now the party has prevailed. You voted. It became a law. It was signed into law. Even though Mr. Weah said he did not. His signature was allegedly, or how you call it? Yeah, falsified, right? He says it was falsified. So let's take it on that basis. But the Supreme Court has ruled the law is the law. So maybe that's where the Barker administration is coming from. It's a law, my people, the law is the law. Nothing we can do about it. And there are plenty of laws in our country with similar problems. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, gentlemen, I think let's follow the. It's a developing story. Let's follow it and see what happens. The fact that the MDMC had taken a flight to the Supreme Court, it's possible that the court may likely put a halt to the operation of LTM. It's possible that the court may likely rule against the MDMC. So let's follow and see what happens. But before going to our, because I'm still trying to establish contact with the chair of the Law Reform Commission, he promised that he said he would have joined us. We're hoping that he can join us. But let's talk about. There's a story carried by the front page, and I think it has to do with the future of this country. It carries the headline: kids as young as 10 caught in Liberia's betting room, risking their future. And let me read something quickly. The way these Chinese have brought gambling machines into the country, they are intended to destroy our children, as many of them are becoming gamblers at an early age. If the government does not seize these machines, most of our children will end up on the streets and turn into Zokos. Mami Zaki. Okay, she was being quoted by the paper. Now, These machines are deployed in every corner of Liberia. Our people spend countless hours playing even during school hours. Joseph Jimmy, another resident of Margibi, being quoted by the people. Now, a collaborative task force has been established, bringing together representatives from the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Justice, the LMP, the Ministry of Education, and various national civil society organizations. This task force is dedicated to tackling the challenge of minors under 18 participating in gambling activities. We've gathered verified reports indicating that minors are indeed involved in gambling, prompting us to launch a corrective campaign about a week ago. G is the marketing director, National Lottery Authority. Now, gentlemen, this is the situation. Where do you think this can be solved or it can be addressed? And let me hear from you, Moses, because we have bulk of our foreign partners, and especially the Chinese, breaking in these gambling machines. And at the end of the day, the young people, as young as 10 years, they abandon schools and they go to gamble. Is it the fault of the kids or the fault of our government not taking or not putting in preventive measures for the machines coming to the country? Most let me hear from you.
Okay, so let me wear my clinical hat. First, let me tell you guys that gambling is an addiction,
Hmm.
and that people become dependent on it. So the desire of wanting to win, that's why you're going to see them continuously running in and out of casinos, running in and out of places where they go to play. So, like in the United States, yeah, you talk about the role of the government.
Mhm.
Uh, no one under the age of 21 is legally allowed to enter a casino. When you are caught, you can be prosecuted. It is illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to gamble in the United States legally.
Hmm.
So I'm simply saying that the Chinese are coming in. Yes, it is true that we want to expand our economy, but we have to think about the future of our country. Our young people are the future of our country. A 10-year or 14-year legally lacks the ability to make informed decisions. So to see a 14-year-old, a 17-year-old going to casino, spending his or her time instead of being in school gambling,
Mhm.
that's where the role of the Ministry of Gender comes. Children and social protection. That's where the role of the Ministry of Youth and Sports comes in. Look, this has to do with the future of our young people. That is unacceptable. You go to the legislature, that's where the oversight responsibility comes in. And so, look, executive, we have noticed that these people are bringing in machines in the country. What are the laws? How are these machines being regulated? How are these casinos being regulated to ensure that the future of our country is protected? Let me give you some of the negative implications associated with gambling. Uh, Gambling is associated with a hike in crime. People will steal, people will break into cars, they will do everything they can to take that money to go to casino. I mean, to go to the casino to gamble. That will make people to neglect their children. The mom who's supposed to use the money to buy food for the children, she will take that money to go gamble because she wants to win. And in gambling, you will never be, say, how you call it? You will never be, you will never win. You will always be the loser. Let me tell you. So you're going to see a hike in social problems. People will take their rent, they will gamble. The money they're supposed to use to pay the children's school fee, they will use that to gamble because every time they go, they lose. They say, oh, let me keep trying. You keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying. At the end of the day, you're going to walk away without nothing. Gambling, you're going to see a hike in your prison population because people will start engaging into criminal activities, they're arrested and thrown into prison. Gambling, you will see a hike in prostitution. Why? Because people will prostitute to make money to go and gamble. The negative implications are just too many. So I just want to understand that it is the responsibility of government to maintain this. It is an imperative that we do this. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from you, George.
How how did the Chinese get their licenses to go around to open those places across the country? It's the government. Government issues license. So how many casinos do you want to allow in your country? Looking at your country, looking at your country, the population of your people, looking at the entire country, the advantages and disadvantages, education, health, crime rate, the well-being of your people economically. Why will you license a lot of foreigners to go across the country to go open casinos? Now, what is Mr. Sandy touched major points when he named those entities that should be collaborating. But mostly I want to look at is our group, how to call it, the lottery authority that granted lessons to these people. So you don't know them. Are you monitoring them to see what they're doing? Who all can go there to their casinos? You don't. You grant the man the license. He goes and open a casino in Banga. You don't have any monitors that go there to check what's going on there. All you know is that you have collected the license fees and whatsoever, and you let the man go on his own. So this is risky for our country. I think look, globally, there is a downturn between the Eastern, they got the positive and negative of the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc, all right? One, the negative of the Eastern Bloc, people don't know is, look, you're not seeing any American citizen of pushes there carry on artisanal money and all of them on their own. You will not see it, you go there, but you see Chinese who are taking everything, even saying everything, okay? What the West does is they come through concessions. Concession will put you on the table. They will tell you this, these are what we want, and you name what you want. And you sit down and discuss it. If you allow them to overshadow you or overpower you on the table, that's your business. But they come in very strong with educated people that are sophisticated than you, all right? To come to convince you for you to agree to their term. But go up to Grand Crew, go in the bush, go everywhere you go see. So these things, if you say you're coming to help a poor country, you don't come to exploit them that way. That's exploiting our population in a negative way. Taking the natural resources without any proper arrangement. Then you come bring casinos, carry all over the country, young people being abused. Your country is far ahead of us. If you want to help us, you don't do those things. For me, I really want to hit from that point.
Okay,
right,
but again, let's look at it also locally or nationally. From what we heard that the lotteries, the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Justice, the police, they've organized themselves in a group to attack what's ongoing, to discourage, in another word, but how much of the successes of those efforts that we are seeing, how much of it? You still see gambling centers packed. You still see kids, as young as 10, minus on 18. They still go. How much of those efforts are yielding any sort of results? It's much easier to say what we are doing, but then when you try to measure what coming out of your effort, there's nothing absolutely coming out.
In fact, someone tell me, does it make sense for us to create this type of danger for us and go look for resources that we already don't have, go back and want to go spend resources on it? Why lessen those people? Why should you lessen casino owners to go open casino in remote towns, cities outside of Monrovia that get a whole place polluted without any kind of the monitoring or whatsoever? Why? Yeah. So you can say you putting team together to go after them, then you want another budgetary allocation.
After you license them.
Yes, after you license them.
Because I'm sure those Chinese that bring those machines in, you license them, you receive royalties from them. Then how do you go out to stop their operations? It's not possible. But it's troubling, when these things happen and maybe you try to speak against them, people will say, oh, this guy is anti. But it has to do with our country. We can continue to do the what used to happen in the past, and we're still repeating the same mistakes. How many of those efforts?
We already winning the war a bit on the drug side, right? Then you're creating another area that has serious addiction issue.
Yeah,
the casino area, right? So you see on the street, you don't see people standing on the way to the guys who take on the kush or whatever standing. It's reducing massively. Now you're creating another burden for the society, another addiction issue for the society. Young people as young as 10-year-old, that's abusing their rights. That is crime under our laws.
Surely.
People should be prosecuted for that.
I agree with you. Now, gentlemen, let's try to transition. Moses, your comments on that.
Yeah, just quickly, what you guys were saying. You guys are absolutely right. The lottery authority that has the responsibility for the regulation of gambling activities in the country. I'm sure if we do the research, because everything in Liberia is pattern what is happening in the United States. If you do a research, you're going to see a law that says no one under the age of 21 in Liberia to be gambling.
That's law. That's law.
Yeah, our problem is what? The lack of enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Our people, our public officials are reactionary. They do not prevent situation. You got the laws on the book. You lottery authority who issuing permits, licenses, and you don't hold people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You have no means of tracking what is happening in the country. And let me quickly say this: a suburb like where I live, you will never find any gambling or center in a residential area. There are designated areas, and those who go there are adults, not children. That's just what I want to share, gentlemen.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's transition quickly. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, rated on Prime FM 105.5. You can join the show either online by typing Nighttime Heat on your Facebook page or your YouTube channel, and you follow the show. Wanted to share the show, share the live videos wherever you are, so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening. Now, gentlemen, let's try to play this video. Over the last days, we've been hearing about protests at Phoebe Hospital. I want us to play a video of some, I out of physician assistants or because he held a major press conference trying to draw their attention to what is happening. But after the playing of the video, I'm going to read exactly what it's obtaining. We understand that the Ministry of Health has been making some interventions, but that has been, in another word, undermined by the intervention also of the Civil Service Agency Director General. But let's play this video first, and then we'll read what we have.
We are here this morning in a joint call, the Anesthetic Association President and the Liberia National Physician Assistant Association President, on issue pertaining to the survival of the healthcare workers of this country. So let me begin by self-intro. I am Theophilus Tamafaya. I'm the President of the Liberia National Physician Assistant Association.
Again, my name is Nepen Dolo. I'm the President of the Liberia Association on Nursing.
So we are here this morning on one cardinal issue. The one cardinal issue is, Fasu and my colleague, if you can bear out witness, we have been quiet for some time, but not that we don't have the mouth to talk, or maybe we're not seeing what happened. But we believe that maybe we'll give some time. But now we have stepped on our team to the extent that Josiah Jokai, CSA Director General, leaving his office, going to Philly Hospital, they have no idea of the MOU that exists between the hospital that is run by the Lutheran Church of Liberia and that of the government of Liberia, to leave that part to come, to go and threaten the people to even suspend 7 persons from the list. We are here today to speak our mind, to make the public to understand our next course of action. If it does not even offer apology for an act of intimidation to the healthcare worker that work at Philly Hospital, taking care of even the very Josiah Jokai family, because they are also in salary. They live from salary, they come to Philly for healthcare. And he then intimidating the poor rather than solving the issues, and we frown at that this morning in the highest term. Some of the issues to include, but not limited to. When the healthcare worker decided to be disenchanted in the salary and the working environment, they announced to the public that we will strike if you are not giving your attention on this. That meant that they wanted attention. You waited, you condemned them, you waited for the time to reach for them to initiate the strike action. He was not proactive enough. Now when they start the strike action, he didn't go there to know what is happening, how they feel. You are not empathetic rather, but you woke up to go and intimidate our colleagues. We say you should refrain from that. As a public servant, we are there to back for our right. And any healthcare worker right that he tamper with, we will not take it lightly. We will spray it. It's going to be sporadic. It's not only going to end in Bon County. It's going to end to all major county hospitals. Because you get threatening our colleagues that are working and not even able to take their family home or even pay their children's school fees. But they are working there taking breaks. You know what? What are the consequences and all of the risks associated with healthcare services provision in our country? We're already struggling. We are feeling the pain. You already pay the feeding workers different salary from that of the other healthcare workers different salary. Then you are there again, going there to intimidate and threatening this measure. Is it the idea that he is bringing to push for civil service to be elevated to commission? That he can just go anywhere, anytime to have unilateral decision without consulting the sector head? We condemn him for that action. He got more than 900 pen on his decks. Volunteer pen on his decks. That he have not even been able to upload on the payroll. But he dare to come back against the little one that are working, doing 10% job, 1 person. Then he going there to go intimidate them while they are trying to challenge their grievances. Are you going to silence them? Oh, you forget yesterday when health workers were rising up to the occasion that their brand have been tampered with. Oh, you forget that time. Oh, today now you can't allow all to talk. You think state system have changed? But let me use this term, when we are condemning him, let me use this time to commend the health minister yesterday. We follow all. The health minister went there yesterday. She spoke like a sector lead. She knows exactly how they put feeling. That's why she might not have the capacity to employ them directly, because CSA, the Josiah Jokara to be employing them, is the one that left the office yesterday, go to the field yesterday, without even carrying the authority of the Minister of Health. He went there and to go implement his own action that he want to implement. The minister went there yesterday and overturned that dismissal or suspension request that he put in. I don't know whether he got a recommendation letter from the Minister of Health informing him that those people are having misconduct, they need to be suspended. I don't know whether he got that. I don't know whether he even know the function of the Minister of Health when it comes to workers disenchantment. I don't know whether he know that. Or he only wrong with standing order. When there are crises, he can't go to solve it. But he don't also know that standing order call for working hours. He don't know that. So I don't want to eat all the bread, but let me turn it over to my colleague because we are here too. From there, I'll pick it up from there.
So gentlemen, let's end that and play. Let's try to end that video quickly. Can you pause it? Let's try. Gentlemen, we listen to the guy who spoke, but before then, we're going to play the video, showing the Phoebe Hospital, showing some of the scenes, the rooms, and it's very terrible. Let's try to play. Let's try to play it quickly. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, right on Prime FM 105.5. Okay.
So why are you like the office?
We take our bar patient, man.
Okay, I think that's the video there, gentlemen. Moses, let's begin with you. But before you can come in with your takeaway, this issue with health workers protesting, it's not just unique to this administration. I can remember the current Deputy Minister for Administration, I think that's the position, Martha Morris, was in fact came to prominence as a result of leading health workers, leading them into strikes and protests and all of that. I can remember it is the Martha Morris and others who, in fact, made a song that you harmonize my pay, I'm going to harmonize your votes. And I can remember in Bon County, the Martha Morris, who's the current Deputy Minister of Health, and one of the lawmakers, Marvin Cole, went into some dispute over the same issue of health workers, again being a strike. So I'm saying this to say to all of us that the last administration of former President Weah suffered a lot of protest actions organized by health workers. And I can remember where the Civil Service Agency came out and suspended health workers because they decided to protest or they decided to express their grievances in the manner that they are expressing their grievances. Today, go to Phoebe. We just played a video. It's heartbreaking. And for those health workers to express their grievances, and at the end of the day, for the CSA to come to slam suspension on them, Moses, what do you think?
Look, Soba, this is sad. It's indeed a very sad situation. What Josiah did when he suspended those people yesterday, instead of resolving the problem, he inadvertently exacerbated the problem. He escalated the problem. What we saw in the media, the videos we saw in the media. So, but honestly, if I have a relative that is sick, I will not send my relative to Phoebe. The facility, the living condition, the work environment, the bathrooms, the conditions are so appalling. I will not even send my dog there. Those people raised that. Instead of allowing the sector head, the Minister of Health, to intervene, you have a gentleman who arrogates laws unto himself, who thinks that he's the president of the Republic of Liberia, that he can do whatever he chooses. So he goes and exacerbates the situation by suspending people who had a legitimate claim. Now look, our working condition here is appalling. Our health is in danger. We are not being paid. Yes, it is true. Let me provide the information here. It is true that the Liberian government pays the salary of staff or civil servants at Phoebe Hospital. It is true. The government pays that through the civil service agency. But that does not in any way mean that Mr. Josiah Joker, who is just a mere human resource manager, can just get up and drive to Phoebe and start suspending people without reference to the Minister of Health. Those people are amenable to the Minister of Health. Is Josiah telling us that because he's Director General of the CSA, let's assume that something happened today at the Ministry of Finance? Is Josiah telling us that you will just wake up and go to the Ministry of Finance and start suspending and dismissing people that you consider to be civil servants? There's a leadership at the Ministry of Finance. I'm saying other day to say that Josiah doesn't understand his term of reference. I think President Barker needs to call this, bring this guy to a check. The man is causing more problem in our country than helping to solve problem. He did the same thing. He went around holding meetings with people, interfering into what? Fiscal management issues. That he wants civil servants to start to start being paid by weekly. Who are you, Josiah? You don't make that decision. It's the Minister of Finance. There was an issue with labor. The labor ministry issuing work permits. They may have the audacity to go to the Senate and tell the lawmakers that all the permits that the Ministry of Labor issue, those permits should be revoked. Who is Josiah Joker? He's more for trouble, he's more for problem than being someone who's supposed to be solving problem. I have a problem with that. I'm sure all three of us here have a problem with that. This guy is causing more problem for the president. I think President Barker needs to act.
Okay. Let's hold it there. Let's hold it there and hear from George, our colleague. What do you, George, when you heard about the news regarding the suspension of 7 of the health workers, including the spokesperson, what came to your mind? Because I'm sure you've been in country, you've been here when you followed lot of protests during the last administration.
Yeah, Madam Salif time, her workers started protesting. It was, so the thing is, let me just give a little background of Phoebe while I know. Phoebe was established in 1965 by the Lutheran Church, the Episcopal Church in America, and the United Methodist Church in Liberia. The ownership of Phoebe is not fully to the government of Liberia. The government gave Phoebe subsidies. Okay, subsidies. Subsidy used so now to pay workers or sometimes fuel the generator. Reason being, Phoebe was then the only referral hospital in central Liberia. Okay, so Ministry of Health has some control over Phoebe because of that. When the late Dr. Gweningali was held prior to him becoming health minister, when he was selling Phoebe, because he was one of the best doctors from Pong County that worked at that hospital. Even that day, my late father passed away at that hospital.
Okay.
Most of the people from Lofa area will go there for referrals. So Dr. Gweningali made sure that in fact the subsidies from the government library are going to set up to Phoebe increase because Phoebe, because of its strategic location. But that doesn't mean government to full control that you have to go, you control all the people that work there. No. That's why I know. So the CSA boss, in fact, like Mr. Sandy said, the institution has set the head, who happens to be the Minister of Health. I think if something happened in that type of place, it is the sector head that will be recommending to you to take action instead of you recommending to the sector head to take action. The sector head had not failed yet. People, as you rightly said, Mr. George, how to call her? Martha Morrison. She went and protested severely in Bon County. And she saw her colleagues also protesting. So she could not sit there, even for the health minister, just go and say, fire the people, because she knows the condition of the people down there. So definitely, they went there to calm the situation down. And the people listen. Why would CSA go suspending or firing people? It's wrong for me.
No, so
they're not supposed to.
So what are we seeing now, Moses and George? We see the Ministry of Health and the CSA at variance. Is there a need for that? What message does it send out there to our partners, our development partners, that there's protest by a group of health workers because of conditions not favorable, and at the end of the day, few of them just suspended by the CSA? What message does it send?
A divided government. A divided government. The optics is just not good. For even the Deputy Minister of Information to announce that, it shows the lack of coordination. Daniel Sandos should have known that there is a health minister in our country. And he announced it at the regular press conference that the CSA boss has suspended. That should not have happened. Coordinate with the Minister of Health. No, Madam Minister, this is what we're hearing from Joka. Where do you stand before you go public? The optics is not good. It shows bad governance, juvenile leadership. And this is not what Liberians voted for. We don't want overzealous people in our country to just arrogate unto themselves authority that they don't have. And this is what Joka is doing. President Barker has to do something about this.
Do you agree? Okay, let me hold you. Now, do you agree with Moses that what Joka has done, it shows to the international, because the Ministry of Health has a lot of partners, that it's working with.
Sure.
Does it show that that's divided administration?
It's not good for that sector. I would not say the whole government. I would say for that sector, because It shows
But are two
because
different
the
sectors now.
statement. I mean, for the sectors, for the two sectors,
okay,
right?
fine. The civil service
One of them,
agency
one of
and
them,
the
one of
other-
them is the HR for the government. The other one is the sector head for that particular the affected area. So the statement should have been the civil service agency, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has suspended, or with the consent of the Ministry of Health, has suspended social people at social hospital. If I was the deputy minister and I don't see such, I was going to ask more questions before I read that statement, because the sector here had to be mentioned, had to be aware.
But one thing that
this is not good at all.
Okay,
it's not good at all. I think it shows that coordination is
lacking. Okay,
yeah.
Now, but one thing that I see also, and Moses, again, let's go into history. During the former administration of, during the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, health workers again, many of them, they protested.
Yeah.
Then came George Weah. Many of them protested.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Deputy Minister of Health for administration came into prominence as a result of protest, the Martha Morris.
Yeah.
And there was no day that the George Weah's administration, suspended any health workers for protesting. Now, Moses, how do you think this is going to sail, especially on a regime, on an administration, a rescue administration that have come to being to do away or to undo all of the messes, maybe like you can say, left behind by the Weah's administration. But the same Weah administration, they didn't suspend any health workers. Moses, what's your thought on that?
Well, look, so let's go back to January 22nd, 2024. President Barker mounted a podium for his inaugural address. Then he stated, quote, "This will not be business as usual." So it's time for the president to demonstrate that this is about the good of Liberia. This will not be business as usual. Mr. Weah didn't do that. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not do that. And President Barker must muster the courage. If I were the president, I would dismiss Joker today. I would let him go. He doesn't know what he's doing. What this guy did, what if you listen to the representatives of these nurses, right? You heard them say this is going to go nationwide. Do you know the implication of that? If all the people decide to say, hey, we're going to protest nationwide, you have people in hospitals. Joker, does he understand the implication of that? When we see people dying in schools, I think the president needs to take an action. All I can say.
Now, let me hear from you, George.
Yes,
it's happening at a time. The Joker has released, like Moses said, over 2-3 major policy statements. I can remember when they even indicated that the government would begin paying civil servants twice monthly. He said that. As we speak, that has not come to fruition. Now, does it show any sign? And I want you to be honest with this one. Because government officials coming up and making major policy statements that do not come to fruition, does it reach the ears of the president? Is the president concerned? Do you see any signal from the margin?
Those statements are not made in one small room with few people there. Those statements are made in the media. So I expect that the president, if he is any listening, I expect that his handlers, people from the executive mansion might have listened and then told him what has to be done, lies within his purview. But I don't want to set the record straight that yes, some healthcare workers for the COVID money 2023 were dismissed by the president of Liberia, former president. We are for protesting. I was there doing the research last night and I saw it. So, but because we are media people, right? Maybe we forgot, right? So it's not intended to de-hole into this discussion. But actually, the question you asked, I thought that the action should have been taken. Either an advisement behind the scene to say, don't do this. Before you do this, you have to do so to try to put things under control, then allowing it to just the same type of behavior to continue. When you get a government, you're running a government where sometimes some people feel infallible. So I mean, authoritarian in our leadership, it has a propensity to undermine the performance of that particular government. Most people in the population believe that the government doing well, and so they don't need this type of distraction. I think they should coordinate well to make sure that those sectors, because all the sectors, one or other, they got midpoint. Your performance, your functions, the other main function at a certain area, you have a midway, you have to collaborate.
Now,
that's how it should be.
Let me ask you, with the conflicting statements now, health ministry say no, you can't suspend, and CSS said no, we're going to suspend. Does it show that the leadership, the head of the leadership, has a grip on the government?
Well, so what I see is this particular issue will bring the president on board. President may take action on this because these people are civil servants, but they work under a particular structure, leadership. Okay? In my opinion, it is that leadership that will be bringing complaint to CSA. But this time, a CSA job like a coach and go look for case. That's my view here. He left from your area. He went to another area to go look for case. And so the owner of the place where the poll function said, no, leave it. So right there, the president going to listen to the health minister. In my view, the president is going to listen to the health minister because the president is aware that anywhere human beings are, a group of people are, there will be conflict. And the ability of the leadership in that place to handle the conflicts that will emerge, that's what made them leaders.
Moses, with the conflict, with the different statements, to the minister, CSA boss, at variance with suspension of over suspension of protesting health workers, especially you saw the video of the Phoebe hospital with that, giving you the indication that the workers, the health workers do have genuine concerns. Do you think doesn't mean that doesn't show any sign that the leadership has grip on what's happening and his ears down to hear what's happening and taking actions?
Well, this is one situation. I know there are several. I mean, there are a couple of instances that Joker has gone off tangent, and and the most recent one being what happened yesterday. It has now come to a power struggle between the CSA and the Minister of Health.
Yeah.
Now that's where the president comes in.
Sure.
The ball is now in the court of the president. He has to demonstrate not only to Liberians, to the world, that he is the president of the Republic of Liberia and he's in control of everything in our country. He takes credit when the country is doing good. He takes criticism when the country is doing bad. So he has to play that ball. He has to be solid because his minister has already taken a position. His CSA boss also took a position.
Sure.
In leadership, that way you strike the balance. The balance is what? The good of the institution you work for, the good of the country. It's a little bit Joker. I'm sorry. You went off tangent. I can't tolerate this. And you go with what will protect the interests of the country.
Sure.
Okay.
The president.
Okay, the ball is in the court of the president. Okay, gentlemen, we'll have to transition. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, rated on Prime FM 105.5. If you want to watch the show online, just tap Nighttime Heat and on your Facebook or your YouTube channel and to go to watch the show. We want you to share the show, not only to watch the show, but to also share the live videos so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow what's happening tonight. Well, gentlemen, we had expected, and let me announce this, we had expected the chairman of the Law Reform Commission. In fact, he assured us that he would have come and we should place him on the flyer. But unfortunately, the show started up to 8:30. We started, reaching out, placing calls, not answering, placing calls, not answering, until later on he had a text that he has been sent for to the match. He has been sent for by the president, and it's just troubling in our country. And I tell people, even at the little level that some of us find ourselves, we'll always perform in a way that people will admire us. If, for instance, I'm head of an institution and I'm asked to go and appear on a local show, and to maybe close to time, I received this call from my boss. Let me responsibly reach out to the president. But unfortunately, many of our officials don't do it. Is it that they don't know? Or is it that they do it intentionally? Or is it that they see the individuals as they see them in a disparaging manner to the extent that they don't want to reference them? But that shows that you are not responsible. Because if you are, you will do responsible things. Moses, let's hear from you on that.
Yeah, but look, so I've been working in a professional environment.
Mm-hmm.
What people normally do, like you said, look, in life things do happen.
Surely.
So when an emergency comes, or if you had a scheduled appointment with somebody, let's say even somebody comes to visit you at your office,
Mm-hmm.
and something pops up that interferes with your official duty, you immediately contact the person and say, look, unfortunately, we can't meet at 2:00 because I have this urgency. The person will understand. That's how it goes professionally. But, and I don't want to put our country down. Back home, most of our people allow titles to get to their heads.
Yeah, to swear their heads.
They treat people with discontent. They take us for granted. Oh man, I saw them, man. Look, it doesn't show professionalism.
No.
When he got a phone call, immediately he needed to text you. Look, so unfortunately, I just can't. Doesn't even have to tell you, but I have an emergency.
Sure.
There will be no need of us. So let me start there. So, George, you can elaborate.
Yeah, why else do I have to say there when the both of you have already dealt with this situation? It's very important for you to be a good communicator. A good communicator is a person who will always try to play themselves in this kind of manner where if you have such an issue, the first thing when you hang up with that person, those appointments that you made, you try to reach out to them quick. You say, look, I will not be able to make it. I got some tight schedule, this, that. It won't hurt the person.
No.
Because you've spoken with them. But if you get them chasing you, dying your number, after a certain time, oh, I'm busy. In the midst of the middle of the show, and you do that. Like in the seat, the counselor said one time, at the time you were asking him, saying, you eyeing somewhere else. And he said,
and today he's there.
He's there.
It's troubling, and this is an age-old problem. And many of our people, they don't sometimes act like the professional people. You must be professional in every aspect of your life. You must, even like Moses said, if maybe somebody was coming to visit you at home and you just got an emergency, you have to go to attend to that, right away you call the person. I mean, that shows that you are well versed, well educated. But our people don't know, they miss out on these small things. And at the end of the day, you see them in the next day in official vehicles and in the big, the big shots and wearing coat suits. What better is the coat suit if you don't behave like the coat suit? It's a problem, man. It's a problem. Okay, so let's try to transition quickly. It's 17 minutes after 9. Let's talk about the value added tax. How did they originate? But first, let's play a video of the current Minister of Finance when he went to launch the value added tax. Let's see what we can get the video quickly. He spoke at the program. The current Minister of Finance. We are trying to locate the video. He spoke at a program. He spoke. We should have the video then. But we'll be looking at the video. We'll be looking. We'll play the video because he launched the value added tax, the VAT, and after the launch, the former Minister of Finance came up and took onto his Facebook page and wrote these words. Moses, let's take a listen to this. He said, Mr. Finance Minister, and I think he was making reference to the current. Mr. Finance Minister, as we transition to the value added tax, the VAT, gave credit to President Weah and the CDC for introducing VAT and submitting the VAT legislation before leaving office. When we say you guys are playing our foundation, you all become upset. Okay, we'll soon play the video. The honest thing to do is to acknowledge the history of any progress the country is making. A lot was done here in our 6 years, as you yourself can attest. Do not pretend that it was your rescue government that initiated the VAT. Give due credit whenever you do observe, we will publicly respond. Let's continue with honesty to the national discourse. Nobody will play with our legacy. Thanks. And of course, that's the read up by former Finance Minister Samuel Tuel when the government of Liberia launched the VAT. But let's listen to the current Minister of Finance when he launched the VAT, and then after which we'll listen to that.
Commissioner General James Doboja and members of the senior management of the Liberia Revenue Authority and the able staff of the Liberia Revenue Authority. We recognize the head of the Legislative Budget Office, Mr. Othello Kaba, representing the First Branch of Government, seniors in the House, development partners, the country manager of the African Development Bank, representatives of the World Bank, the EU, and all the partners here present. You see the Vice President of the Tax Institute, strong partner in progress with the LRA and the government. Let me recognize your Deputy Commissioner, Madam Margaret Crotty, and my Assistant Minister of Tax Policy, members of the Folk Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is a great day for Liberia, and I would be remiss if I did not start with words of gratitude and appreciation to the Commissioner General and your team for what you've been doing for Liberia over the past few years. The budget is a book, just a book. But the reason why people take it credibly is that we raise the revenue to translate the book into action, into projects, into transformation of lives. So that book has been made sacred because it is not just a book of pages, but it's a book of commitments, of sweat, and the Commissioner General and the team working with us and other revenue generators, supported by the legislature, the judiciary, the president, the vice president, the entire country. We have, by and large, been translating that book, that promise, into commitment that we deliver. So, over the past 2 years, we've been breaking records. 2024, the revenue we generated was the highest ever in Liberia's history. I don't like to be talking 1822, 1847, but that's the truth. You know, in 2025, you broke the record you broke in 2024 by raising the highest ever revenue in Liberia's history, 2025. And in 2026, where you cross a major boundary, the $1 billion mark, we must and we will. And from all that is happening, I'm doubly certain that you will break the record again. So every year will be record breaking. Actually, every year must be. So how do we do this? Well, the budget is the biggest bread we can bake for our people. We talk about economic growth being projected at 5.1% last year, and we expect it to be better than that this year. So those are economic figures. What it implies is that economic activity in various sectors will improve. But you can have all of those things happening, and they may not necessarily align with revenue generation.
Okay, so gentlemen, we just start to play a bars of, or maybe an excerpt from the speech delivered by the current Minister of Finance. But where we are going is that we are trying to set the record straight, because when the VAT was launched by this administration, we saw on the official page of the former Minister of Finance taking a swap at this government, saying that the government should be able to give some recognition to the CDC administration because it started under the CDC administration. That has always been the politics in our country since the Unity Party came to being. Every time there is a project out by the Unity Party or some major policy, they will always come under that criticism from the previous administration. That look, what you are doing, it's basically on our foundation that you are doing what you are doing. So we just sought to, bring to light this issue with the value added tax that was launched. And we read already the statement made by the former Minister of Finance. Now, let's read what appears to be a counter here. Mr. Samuel Doe Twe lied again. The truth about the introduction of the value added tax regime. And this is one by Masano, my Emmanuel Lord Sr. Augustine P. Gaffon once said in remarks made in 2012, if you know your trousers are burst underneath, don't climb the ladder. Instead, remain on the ground, or else you may expose unpleasant things to the eyes of onlookers. This has been the case with Mr. Samuel Doe Twe in his reckless campaign to continuously attack the workings of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. For Mr. Samuel Twe, his philosophy and his thought process are fundamentally tailored towards taking credit for anything and everything except his own mess he created. That is why during the CDC regime, men and women were transformed into praise-singing machines, heaping praises on Twe for terrible policies such as salary harmonization, which would later become one of the major reasons President Weah lost the election. Okay, let's go further. Unlike Twe, Augustine Gaffon did not use the launch of the nationwide awareness campaign for the value-added tax, the VAT today, as a praise-heaping contest, where he would praise all those who played a role in accelerating Liberia's transition to the VAT regime. Instead, he used the occasion to motivate staff at the LRA to go above and beyond to mobilize more domestic resources as Liberia prepares to transition to the VAT. Maybe if he were Twe, he would have begun by praising himself for signing the ECOWAS Commission MOU for Liberia in 2009, which laid the foundation for the transition to VAT, when he served as Minister of Finance of Liberia at the time. Did we get this reading? Yeah. In 2009, let me state again, the current Minister of Finance signed an ECOWAS Commission MOU in 2009 for Liberia to transition to the VAT. That's since 2009. Let me continue. If Gaffon wanted to use the remarks to heap praises, he would have heaped tons of praises on his former boss, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, under whose first term presidency the actual foundation for VAT was erected, the VAT. He would have also heaped praises on Mrs. Elfrida S. Tamba, who was then his Deputy Minister for Revenue. At the time, the LRA was not yet established, and the Revenue Department was one of the departments under the Ministry of Finance. If he was self-serving like you, he would have praised himself for sending Liberian professionals, including Mr. Mamadi Berete, the first head of the VAT unit established in 2010, Mrs. Dekoti King Saki, Mr. Mole Kiazulu, Mr. Jeremiah Saki, and many others we sent to various training programs on VAT and other tax policy topics in the region and across the world. Okay, let me just start here. Please, man, indoors. Let me just start here. We read and we listened to what I read, gentlemen. And we'll begin with you because you've been covering the economy for some time, the Liberian economy. George, we hear this debate every time, especially since the administration came to being, the new administration came to being. Most often, when the new administration begins to add a road project or some policy, they will always come under criticism by some folks of the last administration that what they are doing is the foundation of the last administration. Now, you listen to what we read. What's your takeaway?
Thank you. Had the last writer now written that piece and I come out to explain, they would have said I'm promoting government because I covered it. The entire VAT something is a tax code for the regional bloc ECOWAS. It's not just for Liberia, all right? So that entire thing started actually 2008, 2009. Madam Efrida Stewart Tamba was Deputy Minister of Revenue at the time. She the one that sat on that entire. I think Mrs. Dekotin Kinsaki, I think she retired now from the LRA or something. And she the one that replaced her at the time. Those people were trained in that place on this particular VAT process. They had to take some
far
time.
Before the CDC came.
Far before. It started in fight before they had to call it the Ebola conflict. It was because of that Ebola crisis that in fact delayed Liberia's transition to the VAT. So all the documentation was done at that time, even before Minister Amara Kone could take over as Minister of Finance, and Minister Gafwan signed onto it. So the ascension was remaining. Probably delayed during the past regime, the most recent past regime, because of the COVID-19 or whatever probably. But now Liberia is now prepared because we had to meet certain requirements also. So those requirements probably have been met, and Liberia is now ready to ascend to that VAT, something for the South region. So the issue of people saying give us credit, gave that credit, is a senior redemption hospital. It started Madam Salif time. The regime before former President they came, they continue it, left it. This particular administration now, I think it's almost completed where it is right now. So that's good governance. That's why they call government of continuity. We don't want where a particular administration comes and start a good project, the next administration comes and leave you, this is not part of our idea, this and that. So it should not be crying when they saw the Lofa Kante road going, when the past regime raised that money. They didn't say the UP raised this money, so we're using it to start the road from Banga to go to Saraye. And they started paying the law in their own name. So those things, so long the project took place, for us, we left it. But the same Minister Gafwan, the same vice president then, who is now president of Liberia, they're the one at the Kuwaiti fund. They're the one that signed that money for that from Bon County, from Banga all the way to Salahi.
Okay, all right. Let's not go there and hear from Moses. Moses, you listen to what we read, and also listen to the two pieces that we read, the one from the former finance minister and the one from the individual who provided the counter. Well, what's your takeaway?
Look, like George said, government is continuity. And that is the angle from which I would like to come. We show gratitude. Gratitude comes from the Latin word gratus, which means being thankful. Showing gratitude comes from within. What does that mean? When you show gratitude, you recognize the good someone did and say, thank you. But that doesn't mean that the person who did it good will come to you and say, oh, someone, you were coming here. I'm the one who said they place all, clean the studio, everything, so you have to tell me thank you. No. We say thank you because we think It is part of the social norms. It's part of the social etiquette. It's something that we do spontaneously. No one can coerce. And so you may wonder, where am I taking this? What I'm saying that there was no need for Samuel Tuer to go on Facebook saying that, oh, we laid the foundation, you should acknowledge us. No, Samuel Tuer, government is continuity. Before the CDC came to the leadership of Liberia, what would you say about the Salif administration? What would you say about all the successive different leadership we have in our country? What would you say about Samuel Doe? That's why in summary we say what government is continuity. When people come, they build upon where they left it at. Because if we all come and say, oh, we didn't start this, we're going to start our own thing, at the end, the country going to fail. So in summary, I'm saying there was no need for Samuel Tuer to go, demanding a public recognition. No, Samuel Tuer, it doesn't work that way. When you do good, you move on. If people choose to recognize you, great. If people choose not to recognize you, that's it. That's how I like to say.
Now, no, the point that I wanted us to establish is that since, like you said, George, 2008, 2006,
2009,
the 2008, 2009, the value added tax, Liberia, started the foundation to transition to it. Now, if maybe during the last administration, it was the effort continued to the extent that it went into legislation. It doesn't mean that because your time it was legislated or it went to legislation, so you started. I don't know, and this is my concern. Is it that we don't understand when the government is continuity? Yeah, come in, Moses.
Yes, so I just want to piggyback on what you said, right? You said it right. You said it right. The Salif administration started this thing here years ago. And George summarized it. What means continuity? Are you saying that he expected this guy to go up there and say, oh, I recognize Ellen Johnson Salif, I recognize Samuel Doe, I recognize Chelsea, like all those things? You think that man will do that in 30 minutes? Come on,
now,
man. For that.
Do we see this as cheap politicking? Because if you were there before, let's assume maybe you went into a house, you went to occupy a house that was occupied by someone before you went there, and the person didn't paint the house, and you went there and you painted. Should you always talk about I came and I painted? Is that necessary?
When I went in a house, the house is there. It's not leaking. I moved in a house. I decided to paint it to my own comfort. And so should I say the so I don't think it makes sense.
And I don't think, gentlemen, I don't think we understand when they say government is continuity. I don't think we understand.
No, I understand Minister Tuer. He's going through lots and lots of challenges right now. Seriously, psychologically, I understand what he's going through. I mean, something that makes you happy at time is good for you to air it so people, you can keep the conversation going, the time going by. But most of the thing, former Minister Tuer can write. Sometimes I can't believe that that's the man who wrote my debate and inaugural speeches when I was contesting for student leadership in Matela Nimpo High School. In 2000, 2001. Most of the time I don't believe it because brilliant, bright Samuel Tuer stood as standard bearer in University of Liberia. I walked there and all my men went to soup. I said, I'm not going to soup. And when I went, he wouldn't ask me, just give me a talking points. I want accountability, transparency. This one, the guy sat and just transformed the entire thing into a speech. And give it to me. I went to deliver. I won the election. Yes. Sometimes when I see or hear somebody think this brilliant man can say, sometimes I don't believe it. Let me really say this on the radio today. I've been telling some people on the side, said this man is a brilliant. The entire green algebra. That man, to summarize the entire book, no problem inside the man can solve. In fact, there were some mistakes. The man identified some errors in that book. But I don't know what's going on.
And talking about school days,
yeah,
I think what has happened again, Moses, sometimes people, get problem with people from the very onset of their interaction. I think the current and the former minister, the whole thing, I think it started from school days.
Soup and soda.
Yeah, soup and soda. To the extent I understand that Samuel 12 was so critical of Gav. He was so in the threat of Gav, to the extent that he was defeated by
was it
this guy who passed, yes, Nimle. And
Socrates.
Socrates.
Nimle,
the late by Socrates.
Yeah.
But I think they've transcended that level now. They are on the national scene. And that's something once Gav said, from the current Minister of Finance said. He said there's a policy on rating,
I said policy.
On rating, we got a video. We'll have to play the video.
On rating policy.
Yes.
On rating policy for former officials.
Thank you. That he doesn't go after his,
the current one. The X doesn't go after the current one, and the current one doesn't go after the X.
I think if all of us were adhering to such policy, gentlemen, I don't think we'll be openly just saying things, and sometimes some of the things we say we bring shame to ourselves because we get so critical to the extent that we don't even follow history. We don't follow history because we are so anti of the current, and so we everything we want to be critical of the current.
Someone who we don't really, some of the intellectuals front-eyed because they say he was not that smart. I mean, not to be condescending, former Minister of State, now Senator Nathaniel McGill, he doesn't just easily discuss the Ministry of State for presidential affairs. Likewise, the late minister and the current Minister of State, they don't discuss former Minister McGill. So it's like they're respecting that. But with Minister 12, I don't know. That's why I say, these are tough times. And, probably sometimes, especially the legal hurdles, other things, and a lot of other issues. I know. Sometimes even the professionals at a certain point, they can lose it. And you can see
let's
something.
Listen to the video.
Yeah.
Let's see where we can listen to this video quickly and talk about on written code.
Yeah.
Decorum. On written code of conduct that should exist between incumbents and former occupants of opposition. There's an written code of conduct. Largely, in my professional life, in my government life, public life, I've operated by that code of conduct. I know how to write. I write a whole lot. Some of you know that. And as far as you know, I know how to talk also. But if you check my record, not just now, check, I've always given. I've been a successor, I've been a predecessor. I repeat. I've been a successor and I've been a predecessor. But for this position, I'm both a successor and predecessor. You know that? So I'm giving all my predecessors and my successors, based on when you take it, benefits of the doubt. Watch them and always wish them well. when I had concerns, this and that, I would try to transmit it to them, and so that, you know, to help, always wish them well. So I operate by that code of conduct, unrated. Maybe some people say because I'm a diplomat. I was the country's first diplomat for almost 4 years. But before becoming Minister of Foreign Affairs, I've been operating by that code of conduct. So, but do I expect every other person to operate by that informal code of conduct? I don't. And so what if violated? I respect that right to violate too. But I would not violate it.
Okay.
I would not violate it. It's not because I cannot write. I can write. Not because I cannot talk. I talk where it's necessary.
Okay. Yes.
So I was, you know, when it comes to these two guys, like Minister Gafuan, you know, the man does be that we are. He didn't stop there. He went to the University Library. He do say in front of flying colors. He's a poet. He wrote it. I mean, he writes a lot, and he wrote on he won a BBC award, and you know, and all. So these are two young people of their generation, and you know, very bright, very brilliant young men. I don't expect this to be between them because of politics, even though they get their own division at the University Library campus. You know, that's why you saw another political party emerge at the university campus during the past administration. You saw another political party that emerged to combat a soup. I don't know how to call them, in fact. So these things, that's how that fight has been until what former Minister Twe is doing now is he's trying to violate that code of decorum.
Okay.
That unwritten code of decorum.
Yeah. Okay.
Code of conduct,
I think people, you know, if everyone was adhering to such a code, I don't think we'll just be, you know, over the critical of each other.
Sure.
Okay, let's try to transition, gentlemen. Ministry of Justice moves to seek Senate leadership to present key financial statements. We started this discussion yesterday, and the purpose of it, like we read, it's basically to appeal to the court, I think, to subpoena individuals who were in leadership at the time, because there is an audit that has been conducted, and I think the audit closed on the
March 2024.
Thank you, 2024.
Yeah.
It closed, and that it means that the audit also included the leadership, or the current leadership of the Senate. Now, Moses, what do you think going to happen there? Because it is now being misinterpreted that apparently the attempt is to maybe get at those who were in leadership in the Senate, like Abochie and others who were in leadership at the time. Maybe the auditor just added the 3 months of 2024 so as not to make it seem like that. But you know, that's some conviction that the purpose is to just get Abochie and others. What do you think, Moses?
Honestly, Saba, when you look at it technically, opponents of the administration, not what they're going to run with, especially the guys from the CDC. Because if you do the math, the audit only took into consideration 2 months of the rescue government.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they should have gone at least a year to strike that balance. That this is not about Abochie. This is not about former Senate officials who manage the resources of the Senate for the last 6 years. It's only 2 months. Yomdi took over on the Senate, in January. She administered for February. You can't audit her for that. And then March, you initiate an audit that goes to March. So look, normally you off the hook here. I'm not saying that she has done anything wrong, but at least to show that balance, the fairness, I think they should have gone 1 year into her administration as well. So that would just kill the whole criticism. But most people now are welcome the audit. I personally welcome the audit because our people are under obligation to account for every dime. I welcome it, but people who are opposed to the administration, that's the path that they're going to tread. This is about Abachi and audit. I don't know what you think, George.
Okay. So before Josh can come in, let me just read the entire statement, and then we can talk about that. I think this is our last stop for the night. Justice Ministry seeks quote subpoena over alleged financial irregularities at Liberian Senate. The Ministry of Justice has intensified its probe into alleged financial mismanagement at the Liberian Senate, filing a request before resident Sacred George Roosevelt Zell Willie for a writ of subpoena to compel senior Senate officials to produce critical financial records. The action follows a comprehensive audit by the General Auditing Commission covering fiscal year 2018 to 2019 through fiscal year 2023, ending March 31, 2024. The audit flagged a possible financial statement, fraud, unexplained variances, and expenditures exceeding approved national budgets. Court filings alleged that Senate management diverted funds across unrelated budget lines and overspent appropriations, while US 88.9898425 was approved between fiscal year 2018 and 19 and fiscal year 2023. The Senate internal IFMA's ledger reportedly shows US 117.984169 in spending, an excess of US 26 944,040. Ministry of Finance outcomes totaling US 91.0401.2 still leave unexplained. Okay, so gentlemen, let's hear from you first. George.
Thank you. The audit ending March 2024 doesn't mean that from January to March 2024 was audited. No. There have been no audit done of this particular administration since its inception of that particular legislature.
Okay.
What I gather from someone, a source from the GSA, is that, the legislature has not been audited over the years. So this current legislature allowed them, it's a test, right, to see how they can put their system into place.
Mhm.
But to unveil those alleged corruption issue, this and that, and then provide them a system to use in the legislature. So what they decided to go back into the past administration to do the entire audit, and then any time from now, because of manpower issue, the audit for this year, for this administration, according to the source, this administration for 2024, probably 2025 will be out, because part of the challenge that they have is actually manpower, trained auditors.
Mhm.
The number less. So sometimes when they can be here, sometimes they get some special assignments, they have to pull some of the men from there to run on the other side, and to do the special audits and other stuff. So yes, it's true. People following it will say, especially from the other side of the aisle, will say, look, this is witch hunt. It's intended to go after those that were there before. Even those that were there before, they know that nobody will really go after them. But this thing intended to show transparency, accountability. If you see the difference between the $80-some million that were expended and the fiscal outturn, the actual performance, financial performance report is $90-some million. But they told you that, they used $100-some million, and the balance was with difference of $26 million. So if you go to $90-some million, it'll be less than $26 million. So you will see those kind of discrepancies, and after a certain time, it will be settled.
Now, Moses, do you agree with him? If they will not go after them, why do you think they will bring it up now, Moses? Because that's what he's saying, what George is saying. That is just a test. And the amateur and the rest of them will not go to court. Moses, do you believe that?
I think George struck a very important point, and let's be honest here.
Mhm.
Sometimes we say that is publicity from publicity stand. And I think the angle from which George is coming from. Look, they're just trying to say we are being transparent, but to really hold people accountable. Now, people will go to prison, or they will serve jail time, or there will be forfeiture. People will forfeit their properties and stuff like that if they are really whole. We're not going to see that happening. So I agree with George. It's not going to happen.
But if it will not happen, then why did they bring it to light?
It's just a semblance that, hey, we are committed to this. They want to demonstrate that they're doing this, but in reality, it's not going to happen. So I agree with Josh.
So then, what do you think the object will be? If you brought something to light, and then unfortunately it doesn't happen, and nobody see anybody being paraded before the court. What do you think the optics will be?
The optics is going to be bad. The optics is going to be bad, but Liberia has always been like that. Do you know the number of other cases we have in that country that no one has gone to prison for? Do you know that former Minister McGill was hooked in that case?
It's still ongoing investigation.
Still ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Do you know former Senator Milton Tiaje was hooked for $100,000 during the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration? Yeah. In a GSC audit report? What came from out of that? Absolutely nothing. So the people just come and create the impression that something real is happening. So like John said, my brother, they're just trying to put something out there. Yeah, we're doing something. But my brother, nothing not gonna happen, man.
Okay.
So,
we'll try to open it
so I also
today.
like to clarify that not all audit reports that are prosecutable. Audit reports most often don't form the basis for lawsuit. They are intended to advance system change, system reform. Probably some of those monies that we're talking about here, they were actually misapplied. They were not really taken for personal use.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're supposed to buy chairs, but you didn't buy the chair. You went left it bought air conditioners. You misapply the money. So sometimes some of the things the auditor will see, yes, so amount of money missing, but I always like to see the auditor's opinion. That's why sometimes if you read the auditor's opinion, I'm not seeing this audit report, but I don't know the court going to require information from that place. Look, the Senate, how to call it, budget bureau or whatsoever, that's where you will see information. You don't see it from anywhere. You're not going to see it with Senator, with former Senate Pro Tem. How about here? You're not going to see it. No, you're not going to see it. So you already saw the discrepancies between 81 million that was actually allotted for the Senate, but later you observed the excess of 100 some more million came. But the alternate telling you say 91+ million was actually used that they saw. So because of the discrepancies, for me, I see that This is a system test that these people say they stay pushing them to get more because they want to start auditing the Senate, the legislature, and the judiciary to set the basis for the audit of the legislature and the judiciary going forward.
Okay.
Because they have never been done in Liberia's history before. Those guys been doing their own thing. In fact, this alone has sent alarms or signals to them that, look, money come there, you're not using it the right way, the system will hook you. Right now, that system GSC put into place at the legislature, that's what they're using because they agree to be audited. I want to appreciate former Speaker Fonate Kofa. He wanted to advocate for that particular audit of the legislature at that time when he was there. And, so with that, you see some of this information coming out from this audit is because they allow it. Had they not allow it, you and I were not going to hear anything from the legislature.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's just take a few calls quickly. 0776-540-987. That's the line we are using tonight. 0776-540-987. We've been talking about a couple of issues. Maybe you want to add your voice. You want to weigh in on some of the things we've been talking about. 0776-540-987. That's the number to call. And to alive on the nighttime heat tonight. 0776-540-987. Again, 0776-540-987. That's the number to call. And you are live. Let's take this first call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, Sir George.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and all the panelists.
Okay.
So you can't legislature, somebody mentioned that they are not the audited. No. From the onset way back, that legislature used to be audited. It used to be audited. You always used to audit the legislature. The legislature has to go directly and intercept the program. Their controller used to go for them and get money for them. While in China for the controller will sign everything and bring it for them. But today, the legislature, they can go and engage the caps. This is what it becomes difficult for them to be audited. But way back, they used to audit the controller of the legislature. And then it will go up. You see? So this is the point.
Okay.
Because they are educating people that see where they're going for money. They all are not going for money. They all want to go engage the finance minister. What's that one for? You are honorable man. You're not supposed to go there. You can't control the capital building. You're supposed to allow the man go do their work and bring your money, your check. That's how it should be. But today, it's different. It's what make it difficult, brother.
Okay, many thanks. 0776-540-987. Again, 0776-540-987. That's the number to call. Rather. And you are live. We've been talking about a couple of issues. If you want to weigh in on some of what we've been talking about, just place your calls on 0776-540-987. Again, 0776-540-987. That's the number to call. And you are live on the nighttime heat. Again, 0776-540-987. Now, gentlemen, while we with calls, let's talk about this last quickly before we can close up. Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, the LPRC Managing Director. Today, Amos Chua has been briefing the press on the allegation of corruption, has clarified that the Liberia Revenue Authority, the LRA, is responsible for collecting taxes and levies on petroleum products, not LPRC. According to him, LRA collects taxes, surcharges, import levies, road fund charges, and sales tax charges, sales taxes on petroleum products. Petroleum importers pay taxes directly to LRA, not LPRC. LRA oversees the petroleum storage terminal and ensures taxes are paid before products are released. LPRC operates the terminal but does not collect tax revenues. 12 emphasizes LRA's sole jurisdiction over tax collection, with LPRC acting strictly as terminal operator. But there has been, accusations in the media and about some corruption practices at the LPRC. Now, with the allegation, what do you think?
With the clarification, I even heard one of the the figure put at $80 million. I said, how? How $80 million? Because, I mean, nothing can easily pass by in this country. So it was good that they clarified. And I think it will be necessary for the LRA to speak to it, because if LPRC is accused of collecting government taxes, and they say, no, we are not collecting government taxes, then the onus is on the LRA, the institution solely responsible to collect government taxes, to come back to say what really happening there. Because I know LRA personnel are there, just as they are in the Freeport, there are other places, this and that. So, and those fees are not paid as cash in people's hand. They are paid in the bank. And, you know, it goes straight, you pay, and, you know. So I don't know how this figure came about, but it was necessary that they
LPRC clarify.
Yeah, clarify.
Okay,
yeah.
Moses, what do you think?
Well, I think the clarification is good. However, like George said, the revenue authority to come and provide, its side of the story. If there's a need for a probe, then the probe can get started. That's what I would say.
Okay, 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. For just a few minutes, if you want to weigh in, you can put your calls and let's hear from you. The Ministry of Justice, we spoke about moving, asking for subpoena for the Senate leadership to present some financial documents. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening. This is McCarthy back to the line.
Okay.
With regard to the LRA, the Millionaire Club, in La Gloria, the data system is not set in this country. Set early in the power. The government came there, they never set the plan, the receipt data system. And that data system, we don't know who giving them receipt to be issuing. They are issuing receipt, another thing. You see the problem? You said you will go pay the taxes to them. When you go pay to them, the whole thing. They can even, I don't know how they manage it. They have been planning to issue receipt. They allow the taxpayer go directly to get them PP and then payment slip. And you go to the bank, you pay your money, and you bring the receipt to them. Okay, but they don't say engaging the money. They allow people. I think they're not quite in the country because the responsibility also.
So why is that happening?
I say, it started when Appeal Kama, if you can remember when we were taking over. They called the president and the minister of finance. Appeal Kama was the one that opened the account, not the finance minister for LRA. You getting me? Appeal Kama opened our account, they called a review on our account. And then money going there, and now the finance minister control our account. What is happening?
Okay.
So the finance minister will produce the first receipt of this country and carry to the bank, and all the LRA to go and pay the money to the bank, and then the receipt comes from there. The government, the parliament, okay, the receipt, receipt is okay. But they say now, all the Gabua is taking. You see the problem?
Okay.
So you pay a receipt now. No one for the receipt, then, can you let you see?
Okay. Well, thank you. You made your point already. 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Tonight we've been discussing, a couple of issues. The CSA suspending protesting health workers. We've been talking about that. About 7 of them suspended, but the Ministry of Health said no, we're not going to allow that to happen. We've also been talking about how did the value-added tax originate? Is it under the CDC or under the UP? And of course, documents I read indicated that the value-added tax originated on the UP administration since 2009. We've also been talking about the Ministry of Justice asking for, asking the courts to subpoena leadership of the Senate, to submit some financial documents. Likewise, we spoke about the issue of LPRC. LPRC clarified that that's absolutely that it can play with or consume any 80 million, but it does not take the charges. Rather, it's the LRA that receives those taxes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
Good evening to your colleagues your panelists.
Okay.
My name is Yoko, member of United Party Intellectual Bureau. I'm calling from President Walker Avenue into community tonight. They play the electric power.
Okay.
So let me say this, right? My interest lies with the subpoena from the Justice Minister. In that house is like a problem. That's where our problem can come from. If, like for me, if I will have the authority, like what Imam Kwai said, everybody will like the Imam Kwai. Now, I can even say that portion of the government, meaning the lower house, it's not useful. They don't have no use. At least senator then they will because the house of error. Look at what they were put. The immature people that in that house is too much. The people they get it, what do you ever see lawmaker they protesting for the interest of Liberal people? If you not get card, only that they can for the 5,000 card, when they allow to all when we put them there, they play plan la muka. So up to now that trauma will be on me until the mistake I ever made to vote for Muka. Never regret that one in my life because they brought loud to us. He said it will be accessible. He doesn't know where to be from. I don't know whether he living in Liberia or he living to the house. He's not there. You can't even see him. He kept that baby again. Maybe you will see it, but I don't know whether I can capture him. Nothing. This was 15, 40 men represented.
Okay.
They got allowed to also that subpoena. I agree. Let them audit the horse. That horse need to be audited. That's
okay.
Coming from.
Okay. Many thanks. 0776 540 987. That's the number to call. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call. And of course, when you are live, let's hear from you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Baba.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the issue of the Ministry of Justice, when you go read the other created the Ministry of Justice in 1972, it tells you that the Ministry of Justice is under obligation to enforce any and all law. Here, there law is to impose it, but here law enforcement looking in the country. The police are been doing anything in the country. They are leaving everything with open bracket to charge it before if you can't do it. And that are responsibility. We have the other created the Ministry of Justice. Look at the law enforcement system in the country.
Okay. Okay. All right. You made your point. Let's take another call in the line. Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay, sir.
Okay. My name is C, and I call you from Ashmore Street. Okay. I would like to speak to the issue that has to do with CSA and Dialogue with Health Ministry. When people take power to themselves and feel they are God all by themselves, they go astray and do things that not within their purview as it relates to their TOR. So that's why Josiah Joga is doing what he's doing. But again, we will not blame Josiah Joga for his action. We will blame the president, who is paying a blind eye on what Josiah Joga has been doing. You can see where I have my authority given to me to supervise those that are under me. And then you come from some different area where you have your own supervision, and then you want to come and oversee or to supervise me when you are not in that line. So Josiah Joga needs to know his role, know his TOR, know where his role starts, his functions. He just goes to the Ministry of Ethics, the health ministry, where the people have absolute control over what they can do. They know what it is to suspend or dismiss, not him.
Okay.
So, yeah, my issue, that's the straight point for it. The president needs to take action so that Josiah Joga will know that not the president of this country we work at the way and the pleasure of the president.
Okay, many thanks, many thanks. Many thanks. You made your point. 0776 540 That's the number to call. Again, 0776 540 Where does your interest lie? We've been talking about the CSA suspending protesting health workers, but the Ministry of Health said, no, you are overstepping your bound. We also spoke about the origination of the value added tax. As Samuel West said, well, this government launched it, but they need to give CDC credit. But documents I read indicated that the value added tax started since 2008 and 2009. So what kind of credit does the government need to give the CDC again? We've also been talking about the Ministry of Justice. Justice Ministry asking the courts to subpoena the leadership of the Senate to submit some financial documents. We've been discussing all of that, and also the MDMC and the Ministry of Transport. The two of them been fighting. In fact, the MDMC went to the court and to the court that it has this contractual, I think 9 years contractual agreement with the Ministry of Transport. So how will the LTM come and take over its responsibility? So that's the discussion we've been having tonight. And of course, the Chinese imported betting games, it seems to be causing problem for our children. Many of our children are cutting classes and going to do gaming, to do betting. Let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, MOS won't get my name, calling from Topman Bravo, County.
Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I was very happy with the proceeding that the Justice Minister took today against Samuel Twain, and then for those that won't be in corruption, want for the government to prosecute them fully, and what is start here should not be the end. And the government are coming to power to continue on this process.
Okay, many thanks. 0776 540 Again, 0776 540 Which of the topic that you want to weigh on? We'll open the line for you so that you can speak. Is it about the suspension of protesting health workers by the CSA, or is it about the Ministry of Transport and the MDMC going to court? The MDMC has taken the Ministry of Transport to court on grounds that it has 9 years contractual agreement with the Ministry of Transport. And so it doesn't want for the LTM to come and take over its responsibility. Or is it about the government, the Ministry of Justice, asking the court to subpoena leadership of the Senate to present some key financial documents? Is it that we want to talk about? 0776 540 for the next 5 minutes, we'll open the lines for you. 0776 540 That's the number to call. And you are live right here on the Nighttime Heat. Again, 0776 540 0776 540 You call this number, you're going to be live on the Nighttime Heat. We are talking about a couple of issues tonight. We've been talking, and of course, I'm sure you might have heard about the protesting health workers. 7 of them, we understand, that were suspended by the CSA, for protesting. And of course, we played a video of the Phoebe Hospital. You saw what they were protesting for. Yet, the CSA suspended them. But the Ministry of Health said, well, they shouldn't be suspended. I don't think they reach anything. There's any need for that. And the Ministry of Health is still trying to talk to them to return to work. The Ministry of Justice is asking the court to subpoena some key members of the Senate to submit some financial documents. The analysis of that we've done on the value added tax, we're discussing to have an inform as to how did it start? And of course, it started on the ruling Unity Party. It may not be this one, but one of former President Ellen Johnson said. If again, the number 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call and to alive. Moses, let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah,
Yep.
quick. While we are waiting the callers, something that I saw on social media, Representative Priscilla, I think I've forgotten her name, but
Priscilla Cooper.
yeah, Priscilla Cooper. She was in the news, and she made a very strong statement. And she says that people have the habit of continuously, harassing her, bringing their personal problems, and some even threatening when they ask for favor. And if she says she doesn't have it, then the tell her say 2029 is coming, 2029 is coming. And that really resonated with me. I don't think our lawmakers should be overburdened. It is true that people can help. But if you came to this, someone help you, and you kind of more, the person say, I don't have it. I think we should treat our people with some level of consideration. Because if people have their own personal responsibility, family responsibilities, or my kids, my wife just delivered, you want the person to pay the medical bill, or I need to travel all the time, I need transportation, everything. I don't know you guys. Let me hear from the both of you. I don't know what you guys think about it.
This is, Mr. Sandy, you're very correct. This is very bad. Even my own representative in District 7, where I live, where Emmanuel down, the house almost can be like a hospital. People go, they just line up. It's embarrassing. The person needs privacy. Every day, people go to the president's house. They want this, they want that. To the point that sometimes some of these lawmakers can be hiding from the people. They hiding themselves because even the money they're making, if they just say that would be helping, they will wear slippers to go to work. They will not even wear clothes. Some of them will end up walking from their districts to go. So for me, it's embarrassing to that. Some of us can't even visit some of our friends. Just imagine my friend Anthony Williams from Maryland County. I can be afraid, even afraid to go to his office. Every time we tell him, man, George, you can't do the office, but it's different. I mean, you're thinking, what in the man going through? You go there, the man looking for something, or what trying to get. So I think we should stop this. Elect the people. We gave them the power to work for us, and we burden them with these things. That's why I can bring the corruption. That's why I can bring this bribe envelope thing. That's why I can bring the man going to look for money elsewhere to be able to take care of these things. It's wrong. I mean, I probably some people may get help from my district. Really, I'm sorry, Honorable, I call your name, but really, sometimes I can pass with your house, I can see it. It can be embarrassing when I'm driving. I see all that some position. It can be embarrassing to me, for me.
Okay, from my end, I think it's just twofold. Let us do some closing. One, I think it's as a result of the many promises that these lawmakers can give their own people. When they go for the vote, they'll make flowery promises, big promises, and telling the people, I'll be there for you. At the end of the day, when you get there, what happens? They will be banking at your doors. The second thing, I want to believe if our people were employed, if we had opportunity of unemployment, if we had companies coming, the environment favorable, and anybody can get jobs, I don't think our people go and knock the door of a lawmaker. So it's as a result of multiple, problems, different. It's not just about because our people want to go to bed. I can remember once when the Senator Dillon said, the people said the thing is, let's try to always create that environment, that employment environment for our people. as a government, you are under obligation. Yes, you can employ everybody, but you can create the environment, that is by encouraging investors coming to the country. And when our people get jobs, they're not going to knock the doors of anybody anymore. Let's assume a woman of 5, having 5 or 3 children. Maybe she's working at some industry, maybe helping to do something. And at the end of the day, about $300 or $400 gets into her hands. She can use that money to sustain her children. But if you look at the situation and the unemployment is so high, what you expect people to do? And besides, the lawmakers themselves, they go and promise those people. It's as a result of the promise
I'll buy a baby.
I'll buy everything there. I'll put your children in school.
And so the people want to make us salary to drop. They say,
so at the end of the day, they'll want to beg. But anyway, your party coming, George. Your party coming.
Well, it was a good show. I think. I'm sorry. I mean, just on the side, I saw a message from Mr. Tagbe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said he snatched his phone. And so, I'm very sorry, Mr. Tagbe. I hope you retrieve your phone.
Yeah, he managed to retrieve it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. He was on his way to the studio. But the show was a good show. I mean, I want to tell Mr. Sandy, thank you very much. We and also you were able to do what we can do to inform our people.
Yeah, sure.
It was good. Yeah.
Okay. Moses, let me get to your party comment quickly.
Yeah, I also want to say it was indeed a great show. It was a good team, and it was unfortunate that Mr. Tagbe couldn't make it because of his unfortunate situation. But it's good to hear that he has been able to retrieve his phone. And Josh, thank you. And Soba, thank you to our technical crew. I want to say thanks today. And the listeners, it's always a pleasure coming to you. Thank you for always following us continuously. Thank you.
Okay, that was the viewers. Tomorrow, I'll begin to call your names of those who may not call all the names of those who view the show, live viewers, but we'll try by all means to call some of the names beginning tomorrow. We used to, but again, you call some names, you don't call some names, people get offended by that. Who knows? So, but we'll try by all means. If your name's fall amongst the first, maybe 10, 15, 20, we can call, and then later on, we can seize on that. But until tomorrow, thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Saba George is my name. Have a restful night.